Pump it up, pump it up.
Trae.
Come on, come on.
With Trae.
Pump it up, pump it up.
It's the day with Trae.
This is the day to gain inspiration, to make a positive change in the nation. We're inviting you to partake in conversation, to raise your vibration. It's the day that we will all celebrate all of our peeps that make this thing elevate. Watch the negative fade away, cause it's the day with Trae.
And welcome to The Day with Trae. It is a happy Wednesday. I am Deaunte Damper. I'm stepping in for my girl Trae this week. But before we begin, I need you to like, share, and subscribe to Converge Media. We are so happy to have you today. And I just want to tell y'all about a show that I watch every Thursday. It's Clapback Culture. You gotta join Jules. She's an amazing woman. I love the topics that they talk about, from pop culture to politics. It is the longest running show on Converge Media. So I just wanted to do a big shout out. I'm sitting in this seat because of the Queens of Converge. So I just want to especially shout out my girl Jules, Clapback Culture, that'll be coming on tomorrow night on Converge Media. Now, as for our guest today, I have the King County Regional Office of Gun Violence Prevention's Eleuthera Lisch, as well as my bro, Darryl Foto. Both in the areas of community safety, also in the community wellness. We're gonna sit here, we're gonna discuss on how we can be community compasses to healing and building community. We'll be back with those guests. You're watching The Day with Trae.
Big Tobacco thinks they know everything. They think they know you, your community, the places you go, and the way that you spend your time. They think they got you all figured out, down to a formula, a calculation based off of numbers of what they think they know. Show them they're wrong. Learn more at theythinktheyknowyou.org.
What's up, Seattle, Rose City, Big Boise, Spokane, T-Town? I see you every weekend on Back to Besa. And of course, I'm bringing you stories from all over the PNW. You already know your girl's keeping it real everywhere I go. And of course, you can stream current episodes right now on the Fox Local app, available on your smart TV.
You on my mind a lot, don't need no time watch. I don't know how I got you in my pocket spot. Yeah, that's babe, need you every day. You seem like the barging down, got my heart no barging in. From the bed to the floor to the couch, might wake the neighbors up. Break you in and break you out. In the end, we gon' make a child. Then we gon' hit the show. Part 2, we don't need no pause. You miss me, we gon' get tipsy, don't need a power slide.
Copy my steel, face the fact that. Copy my steel, face the fact that.
Welcome back to The Day with Trae. I'm here with my very first guest, my very first love as well. Eleuthera, thank you for being here.
It's my great honor, Deaunte. And you know, as you were doing the intro, I was sitting here listening and thinking about watching the show, and I want to acknowledge that on Monday's show, you shared that you had lost somebody dear to you to suicide. And I just want to take a pause and start this conversation by honoring, acknowledging the pain of loss. I also want to acknowledge the pain of loss of all the folks that are not just losing someone to gun violence, but their lives that are being stolen away, taken from people. And so just to ground us in acknowledging that we sit here because of people's pain. We sit here because people have lost somebody or had someone taken who is dear to them. And I also want to thank you for always uplifting therapy and mental health and well-being and celebrating that and encouraging people to reach out for help and support when they need it.
Because I had community members like you that I grew up with at 16 years old that has always embedded that in me. And thank you very much for saying that, R.I.P. James. Thank you so much for saying that to me, and I had to have you come on the show today because of how the climate is.
Yeah.
The climate is so high with the numbers of gun violence, and I think that we've just gotten the numbers, but we haven't been able to see what actionary items are happening, and that is scary. So can you walk us through what that looks like for us now?
I can certainly do my part, and I want to
Right.
acknowledge.
I love how you said that. I can certainly do my part because I think that we all have a part to play in it.
Exactly.
From different people in the city, from different people in community, but we put the public in public safety. So tell us about your part.
I appreciate you saying that. So I'm in public health. The Office of Regional Gun Violence Prevention is rooted in public health with an understanding that we believe gun violence is a health equity issue and that people who are in despair or in crisis need an exceptional amount of support and care and well-being in order to not get engaged or prevent incidents of gun violence. So what I can say, you mentioned the uptick in gun violence and how scary it is. And the truth is, that there are deaths of despair happening. At the onset of COVID, I think fear increased. Young people were disconnected from schools and the places where they had safe space to be with each other, to congregate and celebrate. Spent a lot more time in social media spaces rather than in human contact spaces. And so we have seen an increase of gun violence all over the country. For the first time in history, it's the leading cause of death for children and teens, which is inexcusable.
Can you repeat that for us?
Gun violence is the leading cause of death above all other forms of death for young people, specifically children and teenagers. So first time in history. So there is calls to action across the nation. Yes, here in Seattle. Yes, we have issues that are happening here in Seattle. I appreciate you mentioning the organizations and community and folks that are doing the work. Seattle has initiatives and they're working really hard on it. And we at King County are working parallel and alongside of them and also expanding those into areas of South King County where communities have been either pushed out or gentrified into areas of community that are not Seattle specifically. Yeah. And so we're working to make sure that services, cares, and supports are available to people wherever they are. The most important thing I think that's happening is that we are advancing here locally, which is part of a national movement, the idea that community is a key ingredient to a holistic public safety framework, that violence interrupters, that street outreach workers, folks like me, when you met me when you were 16, I was hopping out of my car out in neighborhoods at 4 o'clock in the morning and looking to connect with individuals who were letting me know that they were in crisis, that they needed care and support. But I stand on the shoulders of giants and alongside of the giants who are here in community doing that now and organizations that are doing that now. But it's not enough. We don't do that alone. I appreciate you also recognize that, together we're going to end gun violence. We're going to have to work from the grassroots all the way to the grass tops. And I'll offer that the White House, for the first time in history, launched its first ever Office of Gun Violence Prevention that's survivor-led. It's individuals who've been impacted by gun violence who come from community and are leading that call to action across the nation. And this community work has to happen in parallel with traditional public safety work. So they are non-carceral first responders, but law enforcement, EMS, everybody's got a role to play in addressing gun violence.
And I love that. We do have a role to play. And you've also been a part of some public safety meetings around community, and that's been appreciated. And I think that you've been a strong asset for that, because I think we need to also know about some tips on what we can be able to do. Maybe I have a child or a partner or a loved one that may either own a gun or has been a part of something. How can I navigate, or has been either a victim of gun violence or is currently going through that process where they either own a gun and need to get rid of it. I know that there's programs in place. Could you embellish a little bit on some of those?
I can touch on a couple things. So first, I want to shout out the people at Harborview Medical Center who survivor-led again, who are meeting bedside with victims of gun violence. And we know that folks that are impacted by gun violence are often 4 times more likely to get engaged or involved or hurt again with a gun. And so one of the partnerships that we have at Harborview actually distributes safe storage equipment to folks that are returning home to ensure that they can safely store their gun. I want to speak about the power of safe storage for responsible gun owners and people who have a gun for whatever reason they feel like they need one. That safely storing it significantly decreases the potential for a young person who's curious to find it and use it. For somebody who's emotionally heightened and in crisis to grab it and do, without any impulse control, to use that gun. So there is a movement for safe storage, and at Public Health we have the Lock It Up program. The state of Washington is investing. We're actually partnering with the Seahawks to do a mass gun lockbox distribution as one of our key activities. And again, it's not enough. It's just that we're going to have to keep hitting it from every angle we possibly can, investing in the community-led public safety efforts, convening people to work alongside of each other to each do our particular role, safely storing guns, and continuing dialogue about legislation that needs to be passed to ensure that guns aren't in the hands of especially young people in crisis, that we increase the access to mental health supports and well-being, that we do those things in schools and other places where young people are, and that we also recognize that responsible gun owners have to be a part of the solution by locking up their weapons.
That's real. And I think, well, that was a lot to I don't want to say unpack, but it's a lot for us to be able to be the call. We are a part of the call to action. I think so many times we do a lot of kind of blaming this era or this, but I think that we all have a part to play in that. So I think that I want to really shout out some of the programs that you've been invested in too, like the Alive and Free. I want to thank the Alive and Frees because that's what helped me and my brothers and my family, a lot of my family members that were a part of that program, as well as community passageways that have been leading the pathway for that. And I also, like, what can we do if we have a young kid that wants to get involved in how they can be a part of the solution? How would you suggest them do?
So we have a community resource guide that's available online, kingcounty.gov/RGV, Regional Gun Violence. And that includes all the organizations you name, plus many others. I see some great folks out on the wall, progress pushers, other folks that are really, leading in this health, well-being, and safety space. So that web space will path young people and their families to find out where they can get support, how they can enroll a young person, and even how they can get involved. We're also doing a partnership with King County Metro, so you will see bus banners on the buses right now that says, "Together we end gun violence." The other thing we're doing is putting together advisory groups. So there's an advisory group of local elected leaders who have committed to working with each other. There is a survivors advisory group that we're standing up with guidance from the parents of murdered children and other families who've been impacted and had folks they love taken by gun violence. Also a youth advisory group, critical to hear from and be guided by the voice of young people, and an elders advisory group. More and more we're hearing from elders who want to figure out how they can get engaged and support efforts and offer us guidance and wisdom. So those are a few things that people can do to start getting involved.
What I love that I heard, those were a lot of different intersections, and I think that y'all are doing an amazing job with trying to cover that, right? Because I think that we'll be laser focused on a specific age demographic, but it is all of us and all the intersections. And I appreciate you and your department for what y'all have been bringing to the table for public safety in the areas of gun violence.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. I want to last though say that we can talk a lot of good news, and we should celebrate what is working where it is. But until we really see significant decreases in gun violence, we all recognize that our sleeves are rolled up and we have work to do, and we're not letting ourselves off that hook.
That's real. And if you can, I just hear a call. Can you give a call to action to community and let them know where they can be able to find you right here in this?
So do please go check out the resource guide. It's available to you, and we are also working to improve it. If you would like to offer input or other programs that need to be there, please go to kingcounty.gov/RGV and make sure that you recognize that there are lots of opportunities there, incredible programs that are happening, and also please follow the storytelling that's happening in our social media spaces at King County RGV. And that is on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram. One of the most important things we can do to combat gun violence is to tell the stories of the lives taken, tell the stories of the incredible impact community is having. Please follow us and participate.
I love you. I love you, beloved. Thank you so much for coming on here today.
Thank you for having me.
And y'all need to look up more about King County Public Health and gun violence. Please go to that website. But in the meantime, we're going to take one more break, and we'll be back. 2 more breaks, and we'll be back with Darryl Foto. You're watching The Day with Trae.
Seattle Opera presents X, the life and times of Malcolm X. The story of one of the most misunderstood figures in U.S. history comes to McCall Hall for an exceptional night at the opera. Pulitzer Prize-winning composer Anthony Davis produces an American classic with influences from classical music, jazz, pop, blues, and more. Don't miss X, The Life and Times of Malcolm X, February 24th through March 9th at McCaw Hall. Details at seattleopera.org.
What's up, Seattle, Rose City, Big Boise, Spokane, T-Town? I see you every weekend on Back to Besa. And of course, I'm bringing you stories from all over the PNW. You already know your girl's keeping it real everywhere I go. And of course, you can stream current episodes right now on the Fox Local app, available on your smart TV.
Get ready for a night of solid gold with the Temptations and the Four Tops. Same night, same stage. The Temptations and the Four Tops together live.
Pacific Northwest Ballet presents Swan Lake, the world's most beloved ballet. Two weekends only. Tickets at pnb.org.
And we're back with The Day with Trae. Our last guest for today is a poet, an author, and community healer. I'm so happy to have him today, and he's over here like, wow, you said that. Yes, you are. And I'm so happy to have him here today. Darryl Foto, how you doing, brother?
Man, I can't be anything but great after that. Man.
You have been doing some amazing, just as a poet, as an author, and we tried to get you on one time, and the audio was just doing some things, but I'm just so happy to have you here today. First, how are you doing, brother?
You know what? Around the end of a month that's been going on for literally forever, I'm blessed. I'm happy, I'm grateful, and I'm here.
And here you are. And here I was on Friday at your poetry event that you do at the Space Inside. You do it. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, that's like my baby, you know. As an artist, we're sensitive about our stuff, but man, so it's a poetry and sip every last Friday of the month. And when I tell you, it has been, for me, it's been a saving grace in a lot of ways. Coming out of the pandemic, one of the things I was desperately fiending for was community. Regardless if it was poets or not, I just needed people. And to walk into Space Inside and literally feel like, oh, take your shoes off and get comfortable with a whole bunch of strangers I have never met yet, but I left that room feeling amazing, feeling connected, feeling family. And to be able to host an open mic in a space that does that for me has been one of the greatest blessings.
Close to 100 people.
Yeah.
Every end of the
last
line.
Friday. Yes, sir.
And as a poet, to be able to facilitate that specific event, and you're hosting other events around King and Pierce County. Well, let's just say worldwide.
Hey.
How has that been? Because I mean, you started writing poetry at 10.
Yeah. It's been a journey. Well, to be fair, it didn't start with poetry. I'm a better storyteller than I am a poet. Poetry is just the medium that is the most accessible to me and makes me feel the most at home with what I do. But it started off with just like writing essays for school, and then I had like a really racist thing happen in a Safeway, and I just been getting into like slam poetry, and I sat down in an aisle at like 3 a.m. and wrote my first poem.
Yeah.
Got to perform it. And
what was it called?
Oh, God.
You ain't got to recite it.
Okay, hey, I was about to say, as long as you don't ask me, my name isn't Toby.
Your name isn't Toby.
That was the title of the poem. It was, I was going through a lot, and just in terms of embracing my blackness and accepting what that means within the society I live in. And yeah, it just felt like at the time, there was a lot of pressure to be like the respectable black man, the super humble, super calm, and you know, I'm not that guy. I'm calm, I'm humble, but I can't deal with that respectability politic in that sense.
Yeah, you remain you.
In every aspect of the word, come on.
And from My Name is Toby to writing many poems to then now being an author, can you talk a little bit about your book? I mean, because I'm just saying.
You know, I'm smiling because Deaunte knows I'm the worst at self-promotion.
Yes,
so,
and you need to be. What's your book called?
My book is called Lessons in Chasing Paper Cuts. The concept was, at the time, writing felt like reopening wounds.
Yeah.
At the time, it was catharsis, yes, but it hurt to realize that my life, my perception of my reality, everything wasn't necessarily what I thought it was. Yeah. And then, so every time I was writing a poem, it was like a paper cut. Like I'm hurting myself to get this out, but at the end, it ended up being this beautiful compilation of scars that I am so proud of.
And community is so proud of you. And the book is good, so y'all need to get
I mean, it's cool, whatever.
You need to get the book. And it's interesting because, you know, filling in for Trae this week, I was so excited and I started kind of going through some things with losing someone. And in my head, I made sure that I put you in Eleuthera here for this specific day because I know that my community folks have struggled. And one of the things that have helped get me through, as I'm still going through something now, just because you see people hosting things and you see them at events doesn't mean that we don't deal, right? Because I am struggling. Grief and loss is real. It's like a weight that you carry. But one thing that has always helped me get through over the past year is when I come into Inside and I hear your Black Joy poem. So can you recite that for us today?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course. I'd love to. So this poem's called An Ode to Black Joy. Let's talk about it. Black joy, black joy. I'm talking smiling faces. All shades are beautiful. Darker than a new moon, yet still shine brighter than that midday sun. Black joy is a shooting star's inspiration. A wet giggle, escaping cracked lips to splash on molten sidewalks from blocks. Too familiar with this kind of heat and the pain that accompanies it. Black joy is a breath of fresh air in a world struggling to breathe. Black joy is a Sunday drive, backdrop of a city you'll never call home again. Call it sadness, call it depression, name it your demons, but never look back. Black joy is never looking back. It's knowing what you've been through, yet still finding the courage to greet the morning sun. Pay homage to our lost ones. Black joy is how we survive. Despite the weight of the dead we carry, y'all, this is the joy of pallbearers, etching kinfolk into epidermis as proof that our names will persist, despite a badge's insistence to exterminate our existence, yet still, yeah, we eat that shit. Face their prejudice with love. Hate with acceptance. Black joy is singing kumbaya while the world screams boom my yay. Black joy be defiance, a rebellion to the tune of We Shall Overcome. Black joy is a song found in the middle of a cotton field. A Negro spiritual, born from the first back that broke master's whip. I'm talking a roadmap to freedom. Peeled from the hides of grinning slaves and inheritance, passed down from this lineage of martyrs who traded their lives to make our smiles this political, but still, black joy ain't just a statement. It's a verb, an action, not a movement. No trend to appease white guilt, but the inspiration for racist tears, which is not to say that their salt waters my garden. I'm just saying that a colonizer's discomfort will always make the sun shine brighter. Black joy is how my people make the sun shine brighter. A light bulb in the dark, a spark to ignite the mind of the uninspired. Black joy be the death of shadows haunting family trees, the dissolution of residues left from decades of decadence. Black joy is healing generational wounds. It's little black boys raised by single black mothers, becoming black fathers, protecting their sons and daughters. It's the house that our ancestors built, the house that we now call home. And I promise y'all, ain't nothing taking them keys away. Nothing can steal our joy. Thank you.
I love you, brother.
Come on now.
Every time I hear it, I appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate you. Please, if you can, I just had to take a minute. If you can, look in that camera, let community know, this is how we're gonna promote ourselves.
Okay.
You're gonna promote. You're gonna uplift community, let community know where they can find you at the end of the month, let people know where they can buy your book and where they can find you on social media.
Ironically, the answer to all of those questions is kind of the same thing. So, you can find me on social media on Instagram at picture_perfect_poetry253. That is where I post a lot of my updates as far as where I'm gonna be. I post on my monthly open mic on my stories all the time. It's on my page. The link to buy my book is also in that bio. So it's a 2 for 3 for. Come on now. You can also find me on TikTok at photoshoot124.
Time out. I didn't know you was on TikTok. Thank you for coming on. We're going to actually talk to him about that in just a moment. We're going to take one more break and we'll be back with The Day with Trae. You got a TikTok?
I for surely do.
What's up, Seattle, Rose City, Big Boise, Spokane, T-Town? I see you every weekend on Back to Besa. And of course, I'm bringing you stories from all over the PNW. You already know your girl's keeping it real everywhere I go. And of course, you can stream current episodes right now on the Fox Local app, available on your smart TV.
She can't be real.
You looking to make some money tonight?
Daughter, come help me with dinner.
Yes, Mommy.
So I told her. Hey!
You are not the first or the only. There is a lineage you're inheriting. We are the blessed ones. The blessing.
Listen.
Right. Oh my God, it smells so good.
I'm ready, because you know I made it.
Auntie, you made the greens.
Any longer on me?
No.
Here we are.
I would like to thank my wonderful guests for the past 3 days that came in. In the meantime, Trae will be back tomorrow on The Day with Trae. I am Deaunte. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to Converge Media. And y'all, be well.
Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.